Hello, and thank you for joining us for Community Crossroads. I'm your host, Carolina Astrain. Here's a look at what's coming up on today's show. We spent some time getting to know candidates for mayor of the city of Victoria. We'll start with David Crook, who was the first to file for the race for mayor. Then we'll go to City Councilman for District 3, Jeff Bachnight, who decided to run for mayor after serving for several years on council. We'll also hear from Emmett Alvarez, who also served on City Council for several years. And we'll also get to hear from Dwayne Crocker, a lawyer and newcomer to local politics who is running for the District 3 seat on Victoria City Council. We'll also remind you all about the early voting deadline and Election Day, which falls on July 3rd, a Saturday on a holiday weekend. And for those of you that don't know, the vacancy for mayor occurred after the sudden passing of former Mayor Raleigh McCoy, who served for several years and provided a strong sense of leadership and unity before and during the pandemic. Mayor McCoy was also an architect and a loving husband to his wife Kay and father to their children. May he rest in peace. This is the first episode of Community Crossroads we've been able to tape since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic. And thanks to an increase in vaccinations, we've been able to return to inviting guests in studio. So we're really excited to bring you this week's show. First, we speak with David Crook. David, thank you for joining us. And let's go ahead and start. Talk to me about why you decided to file for election.
Well, I decided to file because I still have that, I think by now most people know I was in the military, and I still have that drive I want to continue to help my community in the best way I can, and any way I can. I try to work with, I work with the Victoria Bad News Chairs locally, and I just want to continue to help as much as I can, and anyway.
And talk to me about your professional background and experience, your life experience, and how you think that will inform your role as mayor of Victoria.
So well, I was in the military for 8 years. I was a human resources specialist. I was a sergeant. Worked at the 4th ESC in San Antonio. We're a division level, so we covered 5 states. So I'm used to, we're also a 1-star command, so we had a 1-star general. With that,
Wow. So you've dealt with a lot of structure and
then at our level, it's a lot more political as well, because we're not just a lower line unit, things like that. Our CG has a pretty broad influence. So when we do our paperwork and when we do things like that, we have to take that into account, that it's going to have a pretty broad influence.
And what issues do you care about the most when it comes to city business here in Victoria?
I think most of us are all going to say we all want to work on the roads. I have that background working with TxDOT as an inspector of some of the proper ways to go on about it. And I just want to try to help out and see what we can do to hopefully lower our taxes and just continue to grow Victoria better. I want to see Victoria doing better. I want us to see about incentivizing bringing back businesses and bringing back jobs, which is, things of that nature.
Maybe improving accessibility in the community, going back to Bad News Chairs?
Yeah. Well, accessibility, you would have to, that would be a lot. Like right now we're doing the Navarro, the sidewalks, which is going to help a lot of people, especially, so.
And it helps to have state funding for that. Yes,
yep. Yeah, and as long as we, I know the city's working on, we have a grant writer that Mr. Bachnight was talking about during our debate, that she's already got us several grants, which I think is amazing. And I want to do whatever I can to help support her I think grants are one of the best things we can do and try to get, because then we don't have to worry about our taxpayers trying to foot the bill for it.
Exactly. And what do you do for fun outside of work?
I play sports, adapted sports. Like Monday I was out there with the Victoria Bad News Chairs. We play wheelchair basketball. I'll play pretty much any sport I can, adapted wise.
Well, excellent. We'll have to check that out. And thank you so much for coming on the show. And I love getting to know you, and best of luck in your candidacy for mayor.
Thank you.
And I thank y'all for spending the time getting to know David here on Community Crossroads. Up next, we'll hear from candidate Jeff Bouknight, who was the second to file for mayor.